Wilbon. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. On today's episode, Art struggles. Micah gets traded. Naomi Osaka may be back.
Yeah.
But the pros from Dover are back. And we begin today with the debut of Bill Belichick as head coach at North Carolina. It started out great. Carolina drove right down the field for a touchdown, then held TCU 3 and out. And that was all the Carolina highlights. The game ended 48-14 TCU. It's the most points a Belichick team has ever given up in 511 games. Wilbon, what did you see?
Not much. Not much for North Carolina. Wow. That was stunning. The mistakes, the glaring mistakes that you don't need to watch the film 300 times or the 11 on 11 to see. You can watch your TV and see picks going the other way for 6, fumbles that can't be recovered, missed blocks, blown tackles. You can see all that with the naked eye. And so a Bill Belichick team doing that and giving up that many points, which had never happened in his career, that was stunning, Tony.
Yeah.
And then afterward, to sort of read, I was sort of trying to read some of the reaction. And hearing the reaction, there seems to be some resentment of NFL coaches, and it coalesced around Belichick for maybe college coaches who are saying, okay, really? You're that great? You're going to come in and dominate our game? Maybe not. And so I wonder, like, is this just one game, or is this something to pay more attention of with North Carolina?
So if you ask me what did I see, I saw a game that at a football school, people would be on the phone calling their friends saying, what's the buyout? What's the buyout?
Like Alabama, and we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, and we will get to that. Right. So, I mean, Belichick presented himself the way he always presents himself. He's on the sideline. He's, got that stoic look on his face, and he's got the sleeves cut on a sweatshirt. But his team did not present itself in the way that the great New England teams presented themselves. After that first drive, there was no offense. They had the kind of offense that the Patriots had after Brady left and drove Belichick out of New England. And defense was terrible, and he's a defensive guy. So by the end of the game, I'm looking at him saying, well, he doesn't look stoic anymore. It looks like, get me out of here. Now it's one game.
Yeah.
It's just one game, and you have to take that into consideration. The same thing as you have to do with Arch Manning. It's just one game. They have a very young team. They have 70 new players. They have all new coaches and 70 new players.
Wow.
So it takes time to gel. Now, it's possible, and I know you think this too, it's possible Carolina's terrible. But it's also possible that they get better. They have a very easy schedule.
TCU
is real good.
It's real good.
So they have UNC Charlotte, which is easy. They have Richmond, which is easy. And by the way,
get to Clemson
in the ACC, no, but they don't.
They don't get
the good teams are Miami is a good team, and Florida State may be good, and Clemson is usually good, and SMU is good. They only have to play Clemson, so they get a break in the schedule.
I tell you, the thing that got to me is that knowing how long I covered a lot of college football, knowing how long halftime is, which is about a half an hour. You can go out and shop for groceries at halftime of a college football game.
Yeah.
That's where Belichick always was lauded as doing his best work. And they come out, and TCU goes right down the field. That got me. I just thought, what was it, 20 to 7, maybe at halftime? And I'm thinking, okay, Belichick's going to be Belichick at halftime. No. They're going to climb back in this game, and they did.
But I can't stress this enough. North Carolina is not a football school. It's a basketball school.
He's got some time.
And he filled the gym. They're not firing him if he goes 0-11. That's not going to happen. Now, I would see a different tune if that was Hubert Davis's first game. But it isn't.
It's still stunning. Let's move now to the rest of college football's Week 1 slate. Arch Manning underwhelmed in Texas's loss at Ohio State. Florida State ran all over the previously mentioned Alabama. Notre Dame's fourth quarter rally fell short at Miami, and LSU held on to beat Clemson at, well, maybe Death Valley.
The other one.
Yeah. Tom, there was a whole lot going on. What was your biggest takeaway from Week 1?
So normally I would sit here and I would say it's Ohio State beating Texas, because you have reputedly the number 1 team this year in Texas goes to Ohio State, which was the defending national champion from last year. You have the primetime debut of Arch Manning. And so it's got everything. Now, even though it's a dull game, and even though Ohio State wins just by 7 at home, and even though, as you say, Manning is underwhelming, normally we would say that's the biggest deal, because it's 1 versus 2. But that's not the biggest story. The biggest story is Alabama. Alabama losing to Florida State, which was 2-10 last year.
Yeah.
Alabama now, in its last 10 games, 5-5. These are numbers unheard of with Nick Saban.
And one of those was probably against Samford.
Nick Saban
FBS
coaches
games.
230 games at Alabama and 4 times loses to unranked teams. Kalen DeBoer has now coached 14 games. This is the 4th time he's also an unranked team. So I will sit here and say Alabama's not North Carolina.
No.
Alabama is a football school. Kalen DeBoer is in trouble, and if the buyout isn't $70 million, he might be walking the streets tonight.
Yeah, because Alabama doesn't have those Texas A&M oil fields.
No.
That every alum at A&M seems to have and is happy to write a check himself or herself for $70 million.
Hello, Jimbo Fisher.
That's right. But, Tony, so let's go back to the Ohio State-Texas game for a second. Here's what stood out to me in week 1 and all the days leading up to week 1. I don't want mass media, major media, networks, including people that we like to call our friends, to just ruin the watching of college football for me, the consumption of college football, by exaggerating the hell out of everything, by overstating everything. Arch Manning is not Peyton or Eli or Archie just yet. Just let him simmer a little bit.
Let it percolate. Let it
Jeremiah Smith. He is not Jerry Rice just yet. I heard somebody who I probably like a lot say, probably somebody I covered, say he's the best college football player I've ever seen. You know what my recommendation would be? Then watch more college football over the last 50 years, because he ain't the best I've seen. He's made some great catches and things that make you go, woo. But can we just stop? The greatest weekend of, all of it is just slobbered over.
It was a fabulous opening weekend in terms of games.
In terms of
matchups.
We intended to see that, and we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The Miami-Notre Dame game kind of lived up to it. Okay. LSU-Clemson had some
Give LSU some credit.
I will.
I think that's the first time that Brian Kelly has won at LSU in the opener.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Can we just let the season grow a little bit?
Do you want to talk at all about Northwestern and Tulane and Jake Ratzlaff going from BYU to Tulane?
I don't.
Did you buy a little?
You didn't watch that, did you?
I couldn't watch it. I don't have that. I don't have streaming for that kind of stuff. Let's move to the NFL. And Micah Parsons now playing for Green Bay. Parsons has practiced a little bit, and there are reports he will take an injection if needed to play against the Lions on Sunday. Wilbon, let's look at the trading of Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
What do you believe this trade will mean for Dallas and Green Bay?
Wow. I think it sets, obviously, Dallas back a couple of steps this season right now. And even if you turn those 2 picks, and even if the defensive tackle you got from Detroit, I'm sorry, from Green Bay.
Helps you in the run game.
Helps you. And by the way, their run game was, people forget who talk on television. They talk for weeks at a time in the playoffs about Dallas getting run over and then act like they didn't say it or it didn't happen. Is there any accountability for Green Bay?
I like you, Sheriff Wilbon. I like this.
I come back angry from
these things. I understand.
It's like combative, as somebody in my house calls me.
Yeah.
I look at Green Bay, and I don't want this to work. Because by
birthright, they're going to play the Bears twice. They're going to go after Caleb Williams twice.
Okay, so let's block him. Because here's what happened with Dallas with him in the lineup. I know their rating defensively was as high as it can get with him on the field. Yeah. I get it. I get that he and Reggie White are the only 2 people to do something together with sacks, a number of in their first 4 seasons. But here's what Dallas didn't do. They didn't do a damn thing in the postseason. So if he's that great, and rarely is a player that great, even a quarterback, where's he in the postseason? What did he do? What did he do? He didn't do anything in the postseason. Now, I think he'll be better for the Packers because the Packers are a better organization than the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what I fear.
So I just want to say that within 10 minutes of that trade, I got this text, which I will quote. Nico Harrison is no longer the worst GM in Dallas, unquote, which is funny. It's not quite true because trading Luka Doncic is actually worse than this, but this is pretty bad. And it's all at the feet of Jerry Jones. It's all at the feet.
Yeah.
The statistic you are quoting that is out there is that when Parsons was on the field, they had statistically the best defense in the NFL. And when he wasn't on the field, it was the worst. Yeah. If that's true, what are you doing? What are you can't actually do that. You and I had this conversation, though, contemporaneously of the trade. We were both watching independently of one another, the NFL Network. And we saw the beat writer, well, I did not a beat writer, but the beat reporter on Dallas. She is there every single day. She's not, as you would say, one of these guys who played in the NFL 15 years ago and floats into a talk show without any real knowledge of Dallas now, right now. She's there every single day. And she said, and both of us made note of this, that there were a significant amount of people on Dallas who did not think that Micah Parsons was committed to that team and are not that sorry that he's gone. Now, I'm
that
sure.
Sound familiar coming out of Dallas?
Yeah.
Came out about the other guy, too.
I'm certain.
We'll see.
He's a great. I wouldn't make the trade. He's a great player.
Better for the Packers.
I wouldn't have made
than he was. And Reggie White, the difference is Reggie White was great in Philly and he was great in Green Bay.
I thought your head would explode because of this, because they'll have to play the Bears twice.
Let's see him do something first. That he has sacked the quarterback. He hurries him. He rushes him. He hits him. But let's see that make a difference. Is Green Bay ready for that?
Let's take a break. When we come back, what are the chances that Wilbon's former neighbor, Kyle Schwarber, wins the NL MVP?
And Naomi Osaka.
Trying to find out what's on the minds of the masses in mail times. Let me see what's first. Go to my glasses here. Here we go.
Masses stayed with us.
Naomi Osaka beat Coco Gauff to reach the U.S. Open quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Is the bigger story here Osaka or Gauff?
Osaka. And I'm not rooting against Gauff. I usually root for Gauff. Well, Gauff's not Osaka. Osaka's a better player. Osaka's got 4 Slam championships, and they're all on that court. Either the U.S. Open hard court or the Australian Open hard court. She knows what she's doing. She stopped. She had life things. She had a child.
Yep.
you.